Want to know one of the most misunderstood secrets about what truly turns women on? It's not about your abs, your car, or your smooth talk. It's about boundaries. Yes, you heard that right, boundaries. You see, most men think being available 24/7 and bending over backward will win a woman's heart. That's a lie. What women are really attracted to is a man who has standards, knows his worth, and won't compromise on what matters to him. Here's the shocking truth. Strong, unapologetic boundaries don't push women away, they pull them in. And today, I'm about to reveal 6 boundaries that instantly attract high-value women, not through manipulation or games, but through presence, confidence, and clarity. Stick around for boundary number 6, because that one doesn't just protect your power, it redefines how she sees you and, surprisingly, how she sees herself when she's with you. But let's dive in. Now, boundary 1, the unavailable advantage. This is the foundation of all boundaries. Your time is your most valuable resource, and if you don't respect it, no one else will. Sounds simple, right? But here's where most men go wrong. They drop everything when a woman calls. They reply to texts instantly. They rearrange their whole schedule for her. Why? To please her. But here's the truth. Women are not attracted to desperation. They're attracted to a man who values himself enough to not be available on a whim. When you're constantly available, you communicate one thing, I've got nothing else going on. And that's the opposite of attraction. Scarcity creates value, and when you make your time valuable, it makes you irresistible. Women feel that tension when you don't immediately jump to their demands. It sparks curiosity, it builds mystery, and suddenly they're the ones chasing. This boundary is about holding space for your own life, a life that's already full, meaningful, and purposeful. When you do this, you stop chasing women and they start chasing you. Have you ever been too available and then watched her slowly lose interest? If so, drop the word guilty in the comments, because this one shift alone can change your entire dynamic with women. Boundary number 2, the no apology rule. This one is a game changer, but it's something that most men completely miss. Here's the psychological twist. How you say no is far more important than how often you say yes. Let's be real, we've all been there. She invites you to do something and you know it doesn't align with your time or energy, but your first instinct is to say yes because you don't want to upset her. You over-explain yourself. You apologize for not being available and then you feel guilty. You soften your truth so much, it barely even sounds like a boundary. But here's the truth. A man who can say no without guilt, with confidence and clarity, is magnetic. You don't need to apologize for your time, your plans, or your commitments. When you say no with a calm, grounded presence, you set a clear standard. You show that your time is valuable and you're not at anyone's beck and call just to please them. Think about this. The difference between I can't make it tonight, I'm sorry, I'm so busy, maybe next time, and I can't make it tonight, let's catch up later this week. One is a man fishing for approval. The other is a man owning his time without apology. When you set this boundary, you show her you trust yourself, you trust your decisions, and you're not begging for validation. That's attractive. Now let me ask you, have you ever caught yourself apologizing for just existing? Drop the word guilty in the comments if that's ever happened to you, because this boundary shifts everything. No more apologizing for what you need. Boundary 3, the respect reflex. Here's where you draw a line that says, I won't tolerate disrespect no matter how small it seems. Most men think disrespect only comes in the form of loud arguments or overt insults. But the truth is, disrespect often hides in the quietest moments. It's the little things, a sarcastic jab about your job, a dismissive comment in front of friends, or an eye roll when you're speaking. Women know that these micro doses of disrespect are usually ignored, brushed off as not a big deal or just a joke. But here's the key. Letting those moments slide doesn't make you chill or easygoing. It makes you invisible. It's subtle, but she's watching. She's seeing how you respond. If you let those moments go unchecked, she knows you're not holding yourself to a higher standard. And if you won't call out disrespect from her, she won't respect you either. So what do you do instead? When you catch that subtle jab or the comment that's meant to belittle, you call it out calmly and assertively. You don't snap, you don't raise your voice, you don't start a fight. You simply say, hey, I don't let people talk to me like that. That's it. Simple, firm, grounded. You're not asking for permission. You're setting a standard for how you deserve to be treated. And here's the magic. When you do this, you create polarity. You show her that respecting you isn't optional. it's required. And when a woman sees that you won't tolerate disrespect, she doesn't get angry. She gets attracted. Why? Because she feels safer around you. She trusts you. You've shown her that you'll protect yourself. And that sense of protection makes her feel more feminine and more drawn to your presence. Have you ever let something slide and then felt off afterward? Drop the word frame in the comments if that's happened to you, because these micro moments, the ones we usually ignore, reveal everything about your boundaries. Boundary 4, the calm test. Women will test your emotional center long before they trust your emotional depth. And most men fail this test within minutes. Here's the scenario. She throws in a playful tease, makes a sarcastic remark, or says something a little bit edgy to see how you react. Most men, especially the ones who don't have their emotional boundary set, snap, get defensive, or try to explain themselves. They feel the need to justify their position, they get flustered, and they lose control. What does that tell her? That you're fragile, that you don't know who you are, that you can't handle intensity. And worst of all, it's a major turnoff. Women want a man who can handle pressure, who stays calm and centered no matter what life throws his way. Now, here's where you separate yourself from 99% of men. The man who stays calm, who hears the jab, pauses, and then responds with something like, that's cute. You always test guys this fast? He just flipped the script. Why? Because emotional control isn't about being cold or detached. It's about being grounded. When she senses that nothing can rattle you, she starts to respect you more. She feels safe, but she's also intrigued. What else is he unshakable about? That curiosity is magnetic. Here's the kicker. While most guys are desperately trying to pass her test, you're the guy who rewrites the test as it happens. You become the standard she compares everyone else to. Have you ever reacted to one of her tests only to feel like you've lost control afterward? Drop the word centered in the comments if that's happened to you, because once you learn to remain calm, you'll never fail this test again. Boundary 5, the authority silence. This one might feel subtle, but it's incredibly powerful. It's about learning to make decisions without over-explaining yourself. Here's the common mistake most men make. They over-explain, they justify every decision they make. When they say no, they give a laundry list of excuses. They'll send long texts explaining why they can't hang out or why they can't do something. They're constantly looking for validation. What does that do? It weakens you. It shows uncertainty. And when a man is uncertain, it's hard for a woman to feel attracted to him. But when you own your decisions with confidence, without over-explaining yourself, you immediately raise your value in her eyes. Imagine this, you've got plans, but she invites you to do something last minute. Instead of saying, I've had a really long week at work, I'm just so tired, but I think I can fit it in. You simply say, I can't make it tonight, but let's catch up later this week. No drama, no apologies, just clarity. And here's the magic. She sees you as a man of action, not words. You've made your decision and you're sticking to it. There's no guilt, no trying to soften the blow with extra details. You own your time, your space, and your decisions. But why does this work so well? Because real confidence doesn't need a justification. It doesn't need to beg for approval. It simply acts. The man who speaks with clarity, who says less and means more, is the one who commands respect without needing to ask for it. This is where your presence speaks volumes. You don't need to explain your every move. You decide and you let your silence do the talking. When a woman sees that you're confident enough in your decisions to simply state them without validation, she sees you as strong. She sees you as a man who has control over his life, not someone who's constantly seeking reassurance or trying to please everyone. So next time you catch yourself explaining too much, stop. Just decide, own it, and watch how your power shifts. You don't need to ask for permission or make excuses, just own the moment. Boundary 6, the mission first code. This one flips the entire game. This boundary isn't just about attracting women, it's about protecting your purpose and staying true to your mission. Here's the trap most men fall into. The moment a woman enters their life, they begin to shift everything for her. They adjust their goals, their schedule, their mindset, just to keep her happy. It's all about keeping her at the center of their universe. And at first, it might feel like she's impressed, but very quickly something shifts. She starts to feel like your purpose is her, not your vision, not your growth, not your mission. And here's the problem. The polarity dies, the dynamic shifts, and she starts seeing you as someone who's dependent on her, not someone who has his own life. Women don't want to be the center of your world. They want to be part of a world that's already moving, already filled with purpose and direction. So what do? You make your mission your priority. Your purpose, your goals, and your vision come first, always. When you're a man with momentum, with a path, with a fire that's burning, with or without her, you become the gravity and she becomes the orbit. That shift, when you start making your mission your priority, completely changes the attraction dynamic. She'll be drawn to you not because you've made her the center of your world, but because you're a man with a purpose, you've got momentum, and she wants to be a part of that. Ask yourself this: what's your mission? What are you building? Do your daily actions reflect it? When you have that inner drive, she'll feel drawn to your direction, and you won't have to chase women anymore. They'll be attracted to your momentum. Bonus boundary 7, the no fixing rule. This one is huge, and it's something most men miss without even realizing it. She's upset, she's venting, she's emotional. And what do? You jump into problem-solving mode. You try to fix her emotions by telling her how to feel or what to do. You say things like, just don't worry about it, it's not a big deal. Here's what you should do. But here's the thing. Women don't want to be fixed. They want to be heard. They want someone who can hold space for their emotions, not someone who tries to fix them. What she needs from you is not solutions, but presence. When you stay grounded, listen to her, and don't rush in to solve her problems, you become her anchor. A man who doesn't panic when she's emotional, who doesn't try to fix her, but instead holds space for her feelings, that's the man she trusts. You don't need the right words, you need the right presence, and that presence is what creates the bond. She's drawn to you not because you solve her problems, but because you don't abandon her in them. Bonus boundary 8, the mystery principle. Women are drawn to the mysterious man, the one who doesn't reveal everything about himself on the first date or through constant texting. In today's world where oversharing is the norm, mystery is magnetic. Here's the mistake most men make. They spill everything. They share their past, their trauma, their finances, their entire life story in the first few conversations. They overshare because they think it will make them relatable. But what it does is kill the mystery. Mystery is powerful. When you reveal just enough about yourself to keep her curious, you create pull. She wants more, and that curiosity drives attraction. Mystery is magnetic, and when you hold back, not out of fear, but out of intentionality, you make her feel like she needs to learn more. She feels honored when you slowly reveal pieces of your past and your journey. That slow reveal builds emotional intimacy, but on your terms, not hers. Now, which boundary hit you the hardest? Drop a comment below and let me know which one you'll start implementing today. If this video helped shift your perspective, like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you don't miss out on more life-changing insights. Until next time, remember, set the standard, protect your frame, and own the moment.